The world is watching closely as a high-stakes diplomatic gamble unfolds. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky, US President Donald Trump, and key European leaders are now gathered at the table for what could be the most decisive summit since the war in Ukraine began. But with tensions running high, shifting alliances, and unresolved disputes, many are asking, is peace finally within reach? Or is this summit just another illusion on the battlefield of global politics? Welcome to GeoFrontline. Today, we dive into the Ukraine Peace Summit that could change the course of the war, redraw Europe's security map, and test US leadership on the global stage. Stay with us as we break down every angle, from battlefield realities to diplomatic maneuvering, and why this moment could either end the war or push it into an even more dangerous phase. The summit comes at a critical time. After nearly 3 years of grinding war, Ukraine is battered but unbroken. Russia controls vast swaths of territory in the east and south, while Kyiv, despite heroic resistance, faces exhaustion in manpower and resources. The West's support remains strong, but increasingly divided, with some European capitals urging a push for negotiations, while others warn that premature concessions could embolden Moscow. Into this storm steps Donald Trump, now back in the White House, determined to prove his deal-making instincts on the world's most dangerous conflict. For Zelensky, the stakes could not be higher. He has built his presidency on the promise of defending Ukraine's sovereignty, and has repeatedly rejected any deal that would cede territory to Russia. Yet, behind the scenes, pressure is mounting. Ukraine's economy is strained, weapons supplies depend heavily on Washington, and public morale has wavered after brutal months of fighting. Zelensky knows that at this summit, he must show strength not only to Russia, but also to his own people, who fear a peace that might look like surrender. Trump enters the summit with his own calculations. Throughout his campaign, he promised to end the war quickly, criticizing endless aid packages and insisting that diplomacy, not escalation, is the solution. But his critics worry that his idea of a deal may involve pressuring Ukraine to make painful compromises. Still, Trump is not coming to the table alone. By hosting and engaging in this summit, he signals to the world that the US is once again leading the conversation on Europe's future, whether Europe itself is ready or not. Then there is Europe. Leaders from Germany, France, Poland, and other states are deeply divided. Eastern European nations, particularly Poland and the Baltic states, want ironclad guarantees that Russia will not be rewarded for aggression. Western European countries, however, are more concerned with stability, energy security, and avoiding a forever war on the continent's doorstep. The tension inside Europe is not just about Ukraine, it's about the future of NATO, the balance of power with Moscow, and the credibility of Western unity. Now, imagine the scene behind closed doors. Zelensky arrives with demands: firm security guarantees, continued military aid, and no concessions on sovereignty. Trump, ever the negotiator, floats a bold proposal: a ceasefire line enforced by international monitors, coupled with security commitments from NATO to Ukraine, but possibly leaving Russia in control of some occupied areas, at least temporarily. European leaders, cautious yet pragmatic, debate whether this is a realistic first step toward peace or a dangerous precedent that rewards aggression. For Russia, watching from the outside, the summit is both a threat and an opportunity. Vladimir Putin is not at the table, but his shadow looms large. If the West fractures, Moscow gains. If Trump can divide Ukraine from its European backers, Russia secures legitimacy for its gains. But if Zelensky holds firm and Western unity is preserved, Russia could find itself more isolated than ever before. The outcome is not just about maps, it's about perception, power, and legitimacy in the eyes of the world. The military situation on the ground further complicates these talks. Ukraine has recently stepped up drone strikes deep inside Russia, while Moscow continues missile barrages against Ukrainian cities. Neither side seems ready to stop fighting. Yet, paradoxically, that's why the talks matter so much. Both sides are bloodied, exhausted, but unwilling to admit defeat. History shows that some of the most significant peace deals are struck not when one side has won outright, but when both sides are locked in stalemate. For Washington, the domestic picture also matters. Trump's supporters see him as uniquely capable of cutting through diplomatic deadlock, while his critics fear he might sacrifice long-term security for a short-term win. Every move he makes at this summit is being watched not just in Kyiv and Moscow, but also in Beijing, Tehran, and capitals across the globe. If America shows resolve, adversaries take note. If America falters, rivals may feel emboldened. Let's not forget the human dimension. Millions of Ukrainians remain displaced, their cities scarred by war. Families long for peace, but dread a deal that could erase years of sacrifice. For ordinary Ukrainians, the question is simple yet profound. Will their suffering be rewarded with justice, or will the world trade their pain for a fragile ceasefire? That human element will weigh heavily on Zelensky as he looks Trump and European leaders in the eye. So, where does this leave the peace summit? In truth, it is balanced on a knife's edge. Success would mean not only halting the bloodshed, but also crafting a framework for Ukraine's security within Europe. Failure could mean renewed escalation, with Russia testing NATO's resolve and Ukraine forced to fight on alone. The symbolism of Trump and Zelensky meeting alongside Europe is powerful, but symbolism alone will not stop missiles. Concrete commitments are what matter, and those will not be easy to achieve. As we analyze this moment, one thing is clear. The Ukraine Peace Summit is not just about Ukraine. It is about the entire international order. If aggression is rewarded, the message to the world is that might makes right. But if Ukraine's sovereignty is upheld and Western unity stands firm, it could signal a turning point, not only in Europe, but in the broader struggle between democracy and authoritarianism. And here's the big question we leave you with. Is this truly the beginning of the end of the war? Or just another pause in a conflict destined to drag on? The world is holding its breath, and history is being written in real time. This is GeoFrontline, bringing you clarity on the stories that shape our world. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss our deep dives into geopolitics. Until next time, stay informed and stay ahead.